Hello everyone, welcome to Wisecast. Today we are going to discuss the emerging cybersecurity trends in 2026. And today Serhat Erkan joins me, our Solution Engineering Director. Welcome Serhat.
Thank you, Kadir also, and also thank you for introducing me. Let's start also with the last year. I would like to dive directly into the topic. So, what do you think about the last year? What the CISOs did last year also? You are talking with them very frequently, and also you have many ideas what they did and what they plan for this year. Let's start with you.
Yeah, actually, it's what the trend is. It's not for a single year. A trend is continuous. Changes. New stuff, and maybe some stuff dying out throughout the years. And last year, obviously, maybe it will be kind of like cheating. But let me start with the obvious, which is AI. So let's skip the what everybody knows. AI is great. I use
We
it
were
every day.
unable to start without saying AI, as you guess.
In each and every session, in each and every event, of course, everybody talks about AI. But let's step into the security side of things.
Yeah.
Of course, last year, one of the big topics was how you can detain the data that goes to AI, especially if it's a third-party one on the public cloud.
Just I would like to break you for a moment. So there's a very common question also I would like to ask to you. AI is a threat or an opportunity?
Both.
Or both?
Both. We had this lessons when I had my MBA. We had this instructor, and he taught us a phrase that we ended up talking frequently, and it depends, because it was a marketing lesson. So everybody was giving their ideas, giving their opinions, and everybody had a different thought about something, and each of us were thinking that we are right. And in all those discussions, how it ended, our instructor saying it depends. So everybody can be right. So it can be a threat, but it can be an opportunity as well.
Yeah. Also, what I get from the technical guys, as you know, that mostly I'm facing with the technical guys also, and their expectation is that using the AI as some kind of helping to their operations, and also some automations, of course, and many times also what I see at the products also on the product side, I see that they would like to use AI as a decision helper, not a decision maker at the moment. My expectation is that in the future also, as a helper or an opportunity side, I see that AI will become a decision maker in soon. But as you know, that it depends on the capacity of the language models and also some operations and many things, of course. And also at the threat side, what I see that still the AI security products is still developing, I see.
Yeah.
But on the other side, also some of the companies started to make the AI more secure, and they would like to use the AI more securely. And also they started already filling some gaps. And still they have road, of course, but at the end of the day, they already started.
Yeah.
So, like every technology trend, I mean that early starters always has an advantage. Of course, they are struggling many times than others, but at the end of the day, they started earlier, and most probably they will see the finish line earlier than others.
Yeah, exactly. And just like you said, it happened with every technology trend. It happened with cloud. It happened with big data. The changes, the developments in technology is of course beneficial for defending against threats and risks, but obviously it is also a new tool, let's say, or a new enabler for attackers, or for hackers as well. So it is only natural that there are two sides of the coin, let's say, that on one hand they are really motivated to utilize these tools as early as possible to do more, to hurt more, or to do more damage, let's say, to the enterprises. And on the other hand, we are also, struggling, of course, in the beginning to adapt these kind of tools in terms of using them in the defending side of things. But with AI, it's a bit different. It's a bit different in terms of we have two main topics that, on one hand, we are talking the security of AI, about the data, who is using it, how they are using it, am I exploiting, my company data? And on the other hand, like you described, we should be utilizing AI in our security mechanisms as well. So there needs to be like some serious development and progress on both sides of things, because if you are lacking on one side of that, still you are in trouble.
Also, there is another question for the AI side. Who is the responsibility? Who has the responsibility about the AI? The security teams, data owners, or business units?
Well, it's already a very complex and, let's say, a huge, a project to manage data in a company. I mean, data governance side of things. It's not like you install a product and it works and you are fine with GDPR, data privacy, masking, tokenization. The responsibility of the data is, of course, with the business units, different business units inside a company. So there is like a huge map of stakeholders that should be responsible for the security of data. Then comes AI.
Yeah. As being an old DLP professional, so it is very similar to the DLP products or solutions also. DLP is not an only product, as you know that, and I see that also. It's very similar in AI, and AI security is not only a product also. AI security is a process, what I see until now, and as you know, that being an IT guy is, we were unable to decide which data is critical or which data is more important than others, and who are the exact stakeholders of that data also. And from my point of view also, I'm not a futuristic, but on the other hand also, I had some experience at the data side. I see that also AI security is a process, and is a job also. And of course, like every other security operations and of course the process, IT guys also helping them to the business. What I see, and let's see what we'll see in this year, and also. This year's topic, as you know, as we started with an AI, this year's one of the most popular topic is the security of the AI agents also. And what I see that yes, AI agents are trying to replace the human. Unfortunately, yes. Maybe next year we will do this cast with the AI agents of us, maybe. And on the other side, also, what's their rights and which data they can access, which prompt they can accept, and which data they can present to the also the end user. So those are become a big trouble in near future, what I see. And also, this is one of the top topic of this year also, when I did a little search about this. And also, on the other side, also we already talk about AI's opportunities. And at the SecOps side, AI will help us to decide. And at the moment, maybe next year or the year after, they will decide on behalf of us. And also, we will see is some new products, some new technologies very soon. This is my expectation. And that's it for the AI.
I want to cover that agentic AI bit with the focus on identity, because one thing that is, let's say, frustrating about cybersecurity is sometimes you end up thinking like, okay, this type of threat or these type of risks will not be there next year or will not be there in 5 years. You may think about that like, business email compromise, phishing attacks, or some type of, ransomware attacks that were very popular in the past. You end up thinking like, okay, there's now new threats, new attack vectors that the other ones will not be that important. But because of these kind of changes, like with AI, they keep making a comeback even stronger with advanced techniques, like, for example, with deepfake attacks that can, in a perfect way, copy your looks, your mimics, your voice. Not only your voice, by the way, how you speak, how you pose, how your punctuation. They are really, really advanced. So. Back to the identity part of things, it's not a new thing, protecting the identity. You have the data, you have the systems, you have identities, people, third-party people, employees, maybe consumers, and you have access in between. And you want to make sure that everybody accesses the data that they need to access, not more. But now we have these agentic AIs that, okay, when we are talking about maybe LLMs or, data or DLP kind of security of AI, or utilizing AI in the security, but with the agentic AI, you end up giving tasks to AI to execute and create a result. And then when you hear or experience about prompt injection, of course, I'm sure it reminds you the SQL injection, right?
Yeah.
Which is like a really, really old type of risk that we have been working with.
Yeah, I see. Also, I guess that it is maybe more dangerous than the prompt. SQL injection. So this is. I believe that it's going to be a nightmare for the security professionals again. Like every kind of attack, also the nightmare also still they are experiencing. And yes, with agentic AI also, you mean that also identity security is one of the key elements to secure the machine identities and the AI identities. So this is also one of the top 5 priority of the last year. And the identity security is evolving, and also it's become more proactive than reactive side. Also, at the past, as you know, that it's very simple. You just enter in your password and your username, and then also the MFA technology is very old, more than 20 years old technology, and you just enter your passcode or the second factor of whatever you want to use, and but. Right now, also the new version of the identity security also is it detects your behavior, and is it really maybe in near future also with the AI agents it detects that you are still human or not?
I was wondering that we have capture, right?
Yeah.
We go to a website and it says, as please prove that you are not a robot.
Yeah.
I was wondering, maybe in the future, do you think we will experience something like, let's say I'm in the airport going through the passport control, and are they going to tell me, please prove that you are not a robot? Are we going to go that stage? I don't know.
Maybe they can touch it if you have some blood.
How can you do that? Yeah, I don't know.
It is very hard. But in the maybe in the airport it is easy to understand. But in the digital world, for example, especially for the digitalization age, and how can you detect that someone is real behind the computer? So especially for the digital onboarding process, how can you understand that the man is real or not?
I really enjoy the technologies that discover, kind of bot activities or, software created activities. We call them, behavioral biometrics. We are also protecting our customers against this kind of attacks. I tell you my password, you type in your password, and the technology says, okay, the password is correct, but it is not Kadir who is typing that password, because it detects the keystrokes on the phone or maybe on the PC. It detects the keystrokes of the keyboard, the mouse movement, that kind of stuff. It learns how I use my devices when I'm entering password. And that technology actually now advanced to a level that it can even detect the swiping action.
Wow.
Yeah, if it's really me or not that is swiping that. So, of course, these kind of technologies are very beneficial to protect the assets of the customers of an enterprise or the employees of an enterprise. But on the other hand, like you said, the threat is also evolving. Like I mentioned, the deep fake. It is now very, very difficult to detect a deep fake scenario if you are just looking at the video and trying to understand if it's the real person or not. So you end up utilizing technologies that are globally certified and proven to be, provide proper results, proper detection if it is a deep fake or not. So I think it comes to the point that it is one of the, tough sides of being a CISO, let's say, or being a cybersecurity expert, that you need to keep up with these advancements and you need to be really quick to adapt. It is exactly the same as, in the past we used to think that SSL version 3 was a safe thing. One morning we wake up and voila, it's not anymore. We didn't know. So in a single day, you end up changing a lot of things in your systems to move to TLS. So this will keep happening, unfortunately, and we need to be ready to tackle those challenges, in terms of technology, but also in terms of culture, like you mentioned, in the company.
Can we say that the behavior will be the new fingerprint of us?
I think so. Because imagine that anybody can easily generate fake IDs, fake passports. They can copy, other, let's say, behavioral fingerprints of a person. But then how you act, how you behave, yes, of course, at some point it is very difficult to duplicate.
Also, one of the top 5 items of the this year is also converged IT and OT environments also. As you know that OT is a difficult environment and you are unable to fix many things because it depends on many kind of processes, also maybe chemical processes and production processes, and you are unable to, yes, this is just seems like a simple PC, but it can manage the whole production, and it worth about millions of dollars also to just fix a simple application on it. But on the other hand, also IT is a very IT and OT convergence is very important. So, what do you think about that? How can we make the OTs more secure and make the exactly part of the IT?
Well, it is not like in the past. In the past, OT was like this isolated, faraway environment that the companies usually think like, okay, it's already separated, it's already secured with, hardwares, some physical access controls, that kind of thing. So it is not open to the internet. We are fine there. We are fine to use like 10 version older of software, a very old hardware. We don't care if it's working. I don't care about security. It was like that in the past. But now, of course, beginning with, let's say, the cloud adoption or moving your workloads to the cloud or different environments, different data centers, or let's say consolidating your infrastructure into a single point. So there has been a lot of drivers that, let's say, reduce the separation between IT and OT. And that's why, especially with the recent attacks on the critical infrastructure of countries, now it is a really, really important topic for CISOs to consider as well, because it's also about the time we are living in. When there's a cutout, when the electricity does not work, or when the water system is not providing the infrastructure, the first thing that comes to mind, maybe there was an attack, a cyber attack.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So because everybody started thinking like that, now people are not thinking like maybe somebody did something wrong, maybe they turned the switch to the wrong direction. It's not the first thing that comes to mind anymore. That's why you need to ensure that your OT environment, critical infrastructure, is also safe from cyber attacks. And one thing I have been emphasizing a lot about this topic is there are technologies to protect your OT. But if you still design your security separately in an isolated manner for IT and OT, you still have a huge gap that would risk both your IT environment and OT environment. That's why from the beginning, our approach was like taking this in we call that security by design. So in the companies who have both IT and OT, we design the security in a combination to cover everything 360. So that's very critical from my opinion, because I don't wanna talk about the basics. Everybody knows the technologies. Everybody mostly knows how to cover that OT security part. But what I'm seeing in the market is they are missing this big picture of we need to think about IT and OT all together.
Yeah. Also, what I see, especially last years, critical infrastructure is becoming a national security problem.
Exactly.
And many of the regulators, many of the countries released then regulations and for the protection of the critical infrastructure, and then not only electricity, not only waters, and not only also production is very important, because this is a total income of the country, and if the production stops, everything stops maybe. Okay. And that's all from my side for this year. If you would like to add anything.
I think we covered many things. Of course, if they let us, we end up speaking maybe till morning. Because we are just trying to, let's say, shortlist the important topics in terms of cybersecurity in 2026. But we will see you all in the upcoming episodes. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Serhat, for joining me for this session.
You're welcome. Also, hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.